Hi there, beautiful people. So we are on episode 3 of the Faith Supplement series, and it's just been an exciting journey so far. In this episode, we are going to be talking about virtue, and it's very, very important for us to add this supplement of virtue to our faith to strengthen our faith. In the last episode, we saw 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 5, which began by saying, "For this very reason, make every effort to add to your faith," and listed the faith supplements, right? And it's very, very important that we note that we are supposed to make effort. If we don't make efforts, there's no way we are going to strengthen our faith. Strengthening our faith requires effort. Okay, adding these supplements to our faith requires effort. You need to engage your will. I need to engage my will, or else it wouldn't happen. It's not automatic, right? In this episode, we are going to look at how to add this supplement of virtue to our faith. There was so much to unpack, so the supplement of virtue is going to be divided into 2 parts, which I will address in 2 different episodes. In this episode, I'm going to address what virtue is, and in the next episode, I'm going to talk about how we can add this supplement of virtue to our faith to make it strong. And so concerning what virtue is, when you read the scriptures, especially the King James Version, you might come across virtue in many different places, in different contexts. And virtue does not mean the same thing in all those different contexts, right? So I hope to give some disambiguation to what virtue means in those different contexts. If you look at Luke chapter 8 verse 46, Jesus said, "Someone had touched me, for I perceive that virtue is gone out of me." And if you read other versions, it says that I perceive that power is gone out of me, or power has left me. So virtue can mean power. Another thing virtue can mean is an order of angels. So in the angelic hierarchy, if you look at angelology, which is the study of angels, it's said that there are 9 orders of angels, and virtues are just one of those orders. So when you read scripture and you come across dominions, principalities, powers, thrones, all of those are orders of angels. They are not just abstract terms, they are actually orders of angels. They might be either fallen angels or elect angels, depending on the context. And virtues are one of those orders of angels. If you might not come across the word virtue in those scriptures, you might see the word might. Might and virtues mean the same thing. So we have virtue meaning power, and we have virtue meaning virtue as an order of angels. But the virtue we are talking about in this episode means excellence or moral excellence. In 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 3, it says that his divine power has granted to us all things pertaining to life and godliness, through the knowledge of him who has called us by his own glory and excellence. In the King James Version, you see who has called us by his own glory and virtue. So virtue here means moral excellence. And the moral excellence is what we are looking at in this episode, what it is. Okay, now the whole idea or concept of virtue is not new to us. It's not alien. Okay, the concept of virtue is used in many different religions and even in many different non-religious circles. And the whole idea of virtue and moral excellence is what we use to determine people or judge people as good or bad. We loosely classify someone as good or bad depending on virtue, depending on moral excellence. Okay, is this concept or idea of virtue or morality that gives us a way to judge people or define people with the labels of good and bad. Now, this also is closely related to sin. The whole concept and idea of morality is closely related to virtue. It's related to sin, and because it's related to sin, it is the same concept and idea upon which the laws are built, upon which the 10 Commandments is built. Okay, so if you find someone who abides by the dictates of the 10 Commandments, if you find someone who doesn't steal, lie, cheat, kill, honors their parents, we say, oh, this person is a good person. And we find someone who does the opposite of those things, we say this person is not a good person, this person is a bad person, this person doesn't have good morals, or this person doesn't have high virtue. Okay, now I mentioned that virtue is used in many different religions. It's not exclusive to Christianity, right? But there's a difference when it comes to Christian virtue from many different religions. Now, what is this difference? What is the difference between virtue in used in the Christian context and virtue used in other religious contexts? The late Dr. Ravi Zacharias, in his book The Grand Weaver, which I recently wrote a review for on my Instagram, he spoke about virtue or morality this way. In the chapter Your Morality Matters, this is what he said. He was talking about the Jews receiving the Ten Commandments, the laws, and he quoted Exodus chapter 20 verse 2 to 3, and which says that, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. To miss this preamble is to miss the entire content of the Mosaic law. It provides the clue to each of the systems of law that have emerged through time. Here, the Hebrew Christian worldview stands distinct and definitely different. Redemption precedes morality and not the other way around. And that's the difference with Christian virtue. With Christian virtue or Christian morality, redemption precedes it. In other religious contexts, you must be moral to be accepted. You must be moral to enter paradise. You must be moral to be redeemed. Okay, your acceptance is based on how many good deeds outweigh your bad deeds. Your acceptance is based on your virtue. But in the Christian context, you are redeemed before you are expected to be moral. God doesn't redeem us because we are moral, because we are righteous. He redeems us before he expects us to be moral. Because the truth be told, how high the standard is, we can't even meet it to be redeemed. And that is why in Ephesians chapter 2 verse 6 and verse 8 and 9, it says that, for it is by grace you have been saved through faith. And it is the gift of God. This is not of yourself, it's the gift of God, not by works, lest any man should boast. It's not of works. We didn't work for it. It's by faith in the work of Jesus Christ that we became saved. And in Romans chapter 5 verse 6, it says that, while we were yet without strength, in due time Christ died for the ungodly. Christ did not die for the godly, he died for the ungodly. In verse 8 it says that, but God commended his love toward us, that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. He didn't wait for us to become moral. He didn't wait for us to become good before he died for us. He died for us while we were yet sinners. And that's the difference in the Christian faith. You are redeemed before you are expected to be moral. There's redemption before morality, and that redemption actually provides us with the power to live moral lives. It provides us with the grace to live moral lives. And that's why the scripture says that we are not under the law, but we are under grace. And grace supplies that power that we require to live moral lives. And morality or moral excellence or virtue is very, very important in strengthening our faith. Because if you think about it, just think about any strong Christian you know, or any Christian you consider strong, you will realize more often than not that this person is someone of high moral value or high moral standard, or what other people tend to call values. And that's what differentiates how strong this person is as a Christian from other Christians, right? Now, we have looked at what morality or moral excellence or virtue is in this episode. In the next episode, we are going to look at how we can add this important supplement of virtue to our faith to make it strong. I hope you have been blessed, and I hope you are anticipating the next episode. Till then, stay blessed.